Hi, I'm Annie Botticelli, and welcome to my August 2019 horoscope report for you. It is my intention with this video to give you the things that I think you need to know to help you make this the best month possible and learn some astrology while you're at it. Definitely go to my website, anniehelpsyou.com, and see all of the resources I have there, including amazing new and full moon blogs to assist you in maximizing those power periods we have every month. If you are into how I teach and you want to learn for personal or professional purposes, check out my astrology apprenticeship program, also on my website, anniehelpsyou.com. Go to radicalprayerbook.com to see my new book, which is an Amazon bestseller, Radical Prayer, Transform Your Life and the World in 28 Days, which has become a beloved favorite of my fellow spiritual seekers. So what's in the stars for you this month? I'm going to go into lots of details, so let's check them out now. Hello Libra friends, welcome to my August 2019 horoscope report for you. This month is full of amazing new beginnings with 2 new moons. We have zesty Leo placements, which make amazing aspects to your Libra placements. Plus we have a massive amount of potential for happy surprises. The heaviness of the eclipses, the heaviness and drama of the retrograde and water sign and all of the water energies in July have dissipated now in August. We've got a little bit of a carryover with some possible eclipse news still coming in and Mercury retrograde post-shadow period lingering into August, but the positive energies way outweigh the negative ones. We've got 2 mischievous aspects to look out for. I will let you know where in your life you're likely to see those show up and the dates for those. I'll also let you know the abundance of sweet, happy surprise potential aspects and where they're going to show up for early, middle, and late degree Libra placements. We have so much sweetness this month. It's one of my favorite months of the whole year. Jupiter's going direct, so anything that was moving slowly or not seeming to gel is very likely to start to take shape now because of that, and we'll talk about where that is occurring in the chart for you as well. So the layout of the rest of the video will be, I will drop the charts in, and I'll show you all of these aspects and the technical juicy details along with practical manifestations that I tend to see and what you can do with this. Then I have a quick lesson on transcending negative astrological wiring. If you have started to feel like you are a victim of the stars and a victim of your patterns, then you are in luck and you will love this insert that I have for you. And then you'll see me back on the screen and we'll talk about the general transits and specifically those dates that have so much sweetness, and I'll break them up into what dates could be better for what divisions of things. Okay, so a very action-packed video as usual. So let's check out the charts now. Okay, we're going to get into the juicy details of what August looks like for Libra. There are going to be certain things I talk about that are going to be true for all Libra placements, but there will be places where I differentiate out early, middle, and late degrees. So let's figure out where you are. Basically September born or 0 to 9 degrees are early, October 1st through 10th or 10 to 19 degrees in middle, and late is around October 11th through the rest of the sign or 20 to 29 degrees. And if you have your moon in Libra or if you have Libra rising, then this report is for you as well. Not just for sun signs. And if you are watching for your moon or rising, then use the degree designations to figure out where you fit. So my topic this month is happy surprises. That is the theme of the month for all signs. There are amazing aspects in the cosmos for these happy surprises to come, and I want to show you in the chart what areas of your experience are more likely to experience those. Now, while there are around 12 amazing aspects this month, there are 2 mischievous ones. So we will look at where you might get a couple of bumps or jolts, or we'll call them little bobbles in between this wonderful expansion and happy surprise month. And also it's possible that news from the eclipses in July could still be coming in August. So the intensity, the heaviness, the Mercury retrograde, the emotion of July is definitely shifting in August, even though we've got a little bit, a little bit of a time in the first half of the month where we're just like Mercury's kind of getting itself back to center. But there could be pieces of news coming in. If you haven't already watched my June and July horoscopes for Libra, I highly recommend that you do, because in the June report, I talk about where the eclipses hit for early, middle, and late degree Libras and what you can expect. So if you've gotten news about the eclipses, you might want to understand it from the astrological perspective, which you can do in the June video. And some of the things I talked about in July could have a carryover into August because of the eclipse and retrograde energies that are carrying over into August. So we've got Jupiter going direct as well, so we're going to look at that. So let's just start out here with first looking at the climate of the month. We're going to be experiencing a lot of Leo energy, and for Libra, that's super positive because Leo planets make 60-degree angles, which are this wonderful angle that brings many different opportunities. We're going to talk about an aspect called a trine this month as well. And trines tend to bring great things in, whether you do anything with them or not. But these 60-degree angles usually require you to do something. I always call it they're ingredients on a counter to make pie. And if you walk in the kitchen and say, "Where's my pie?" You know, Annie said the pie is coming. No, Annie said the ingredients for the pie are coming. But you still have to use them to make the pie. All right, so just know that. And not just this August, but every August for Libra, starting at the end of July and into most of August, every year, you'll have this same, pie making opportunity with all the Leo planets making sweet aspects to your Libra planets. A nice sweet boost. Okay, so the next piece is that we want to look at the jolts first. Okay, so I said there are a massive amount of sweet aspects this month, but there are two mischievous ones. August 2nd and August 16th or 15th, like the days around there, there's this, right at the beginning of the month, Venus and Uranus are in a disharmonious angle. Venus rules love, beauty, money, self-assurance, design projects, harmony. And when there's a difficult aspect with Uranus, which is a planet of surprises, and you will notice I've used surprise a lot over the last few months because eclipses tend to bring in surprises. So the eclipses bring in similar energy that Uranus does, which is the energy of surprises. So that's what's coming. And when it's in a difficult angle, it might be an unpleasant surprise. So August 2nd, Venus is going to make this aspect there with Uranus, and then around 15th, 16th, Mercury is going to come and make that same angle because Uranus is hanging around 6 degrees the whole month. So as Mercury and Venus cross over that point, news, information, jolts, I'm calling them bobbles, like things are flowing and then it's like you almost drop something and then you catch it, because all of the sweet aspects can serve to create resolutions for any challenges that come up. And just to keep it in context, Mercury and Venus are fast-moving planets, and Uranus has an energy that has to do with volatility or short-term nature. So when there's an aspect between these two that is not harmonious, it usually passes really quickly and isn't of major long-term consequence because the nature of the planets involved are more kind of just short-term jolts. Okay, now regarding where those jolts are going to happen, career, work, sector. Okay, so surprises at work and surprises in relationship. So personal arrangements, with mortgage companies even, or like funding. So pretty much early, you're more likely to have that be like funding or family resources. But the middle and late, you all have Uranus in the 7th house. So, just any personal relationship with or without resources can be where that jolt comes from. And for the middle, also work and career could be seeing that jolt. And actually for the late as well. Okay, so that's going to happen in that area. All right, so enough with that, right? Let's go on to the happy surprises. So let's get the picture of what's going on. Jupiter's going to go direct on August 11th. Yay! So anything that was happening in the 3rd house as far as expansion, in the middle, early degree, middle degree, have Jupiter in the 3rd house, and late degree, you still have Jupiter in the 2nd house. Some of you middle degree placements, you might see some of this in the 2nd house as well, but we'll talk about that in a second. So basically, the 3rd house, so early and middle degree, you might have started to see expansion for your communication, writing projects, research projects, anything having to do with sisters, cousins, uncles, aunts, siblings, anything having to do with a project that is a creative project that you're trying to get out in the world, anything having to do with devices or mobility or, vehicles or your capacity to be mobile may have started expanding earlier in the year. And then if it seems like it hit a standstill, it's because Jupiter went retrograde. And when Jupiter goes retrograde, it wants to shore up the foundation for your future expansion. So sometimes it has to do a little groundwork or work in the backdrop before it can really push forward in a big way. So you're going to see things starting to push forward in a big way. If you need new devices or new vehicles, I love mid-month and after. There's some good energy around the 7th and 8th as well, but we're a little bit still in the retrograde, so just kind of tread lightly. So surprises in those areas can come from early and middle, because what's going to happen is that all of these planets, Mercury, Venus, the Sun, are going to come and make a trine with Jupiter. And when they do, and Jupiter is waking up, then it's just even more blessings for moving forward in those areas. Now, all of that, blessings, happy surprises, are increased for middle and late degree Libra placements in the money sector. So if you've been working on money stuff or a particular material item, getting funding for it, or making more money, or using your money differently, or sustainability projects, then as Jupiter moves forward, you might have the money that you need, or the resources. Could be resources as well, not just money, for moving forward. So the happy surprises in the money sector are more likely for middle and late degree Libras, as these Leo planets come and make this beautiful aspect to Jupiter. All right, so then the next thing that's going to happen as far as happy surprises, you can see why I call the month this, is that when these planets get into Virgo, okay, so Mars is going to get there soon, Sun, Venus, Mercury is going to get there. There's going to be a succession over time, with a lot of it really getting cooking at the end of August. There's going to be these beautiful trine energies made with the planet of surprises. So early degree placements, you might have that in the 12th house, but you could also see it in the 11th house. We'll talk about what those houses mean in a second. We just want to establish where everybody has it. And then middle degree placements, this early Virgo placement, it's going to be 6 degrees where this occurs, because Uranus is at 6 degrees. So as these planets pass over 6 degrees of Virgo, that's when it's going to make that trine. And so that's going to happen in the 11th house and for the middle and late degree. And this is going to continue into September, by the way, these trines with Uranus. So what does it mean? Where are the happy surprises? Okay, so for all early, middle, and late, we've got the 11th house highlighted. And that can bring you surprises in anything internet related. So if you want to launch an internet business, August could be one of the best months in this whole year for you to do that. If you stay tuned, after this Libra specific report, I'm going to drop in a lesson. And then after the lesson, you'll see me back on the screen, and I'm going to talk about the general transits. And I'll give you the dates that I love for short-term things and for long-term launches in that general transit report. So just stay tuned. If you do have a launch or you have to do anything important involving any of the topics I'm talking about, then you can sync them with those time periods or those dates. Internet-related things, group-related things, community-based projects, humanitarian efforts, surprises there. Let's say you were trying to get a position abroad where you were like working for Habitat for Humanity, and it was an application process, and then all of a sudden you got the happy surprise out of the blue, like, guess what? You're going to Guatemala and you're going to be able to do what you've been wanting to do. So things like that. Also anything having to do with teaching groups, being in groups, working for large organizations. So even though this 11th house isn't officially a work house, work energy is being very strongly highlighted for Libras at this time still. Okay, you can see this 10th house of work is very, very well lit up. So a lot of work activity, work and business opportunities, jobs, expansion, raises, if you have to ask for a raise. I love especially August 7th and after for asking for a raise. And it may just come to you too. That's the nature of trines, is sometimes it comes to you without even asking. But if you use it purposely, it can go even further. The 11th house has to do with friendships as well. So surprises, positive, happy surprises within friendships, social media. And do remember that you early degree placements, you are in fair game for some not as happy surprises on around the 2nd and 16th because of the aspects that occur close to your 11th house with Uranus that are not as good. But remember, they're baubles. They're just kind of like temporary baubles. But there's more energy for good social media things, friendships, acquaintances, and networking. So if you need help with something and you're trying to connect to your tribe or people that will be your customers or your supporters, then this month could be full of amazing contacts, and they can either come from the past or they can be brand new. And the brand new energies are getting stronger as the month progresses. Okay, so that's early, middle, and late Libras. Early degree Libras, you are going to have the chance for some of those energies to be in the 12th house. So this is very much associated with spiritual breakthrough, transformation, freedom from addictions, psychological healing, awarenesses that expand beyond this dimension. I mean, because let's face it, all the things that we, quote, have discovered were lurking out there in the undiscovered, unseen place until they were discovered. So it would be very arrogant of humans to think that there wasn't a storehouse of stuff in the unseen realm waiting to be discovered. And this 12th house rules a lot of that, where it's like it's unseen. We don't really know about it on the tangible levels. So breakthroughs in the spiritual dimensions are more likely, especially for you early Libra placements. Okay, so you can see lots of potential happy surprises in store for you all. Oh, and then one more piece actually. We said there could be some jolts in the relationship sector from those two aspects with Uranus, but the majority of the sweet aspects with Uranus are actually, or the majority of the aspects with Uranus this month are actually sweet. So there can be lots of sweet surprises, including new love that seems to come out of the blue. So if you are looking to date or online dating, I love especially August 7th and on from there for starting to kind of get back out there. And especially the second half of the month is just brand new energy for people who you may have connected with before or, going back for a second date. I love, around the 7th and 8th for things like that. So it's just really a lot of promise with a person to come in to help you, maybe the perfect employee or the perfect somebody, happiness, surprises, all of those are showing up really brightly as potentials for Libras this month. So make sure you ask for what you want, because if you don't ask for it, it's going to be hard to get it. So really go for the gusto, because besides in the personal arena, this 11th house that's getting crowded, about to be crowded, this will happen in this month for you late degree, as you're going to move into here. This 11th house is the house of big dreams, not the ones you have at night. Those are the 12th house, which, by the way, the early can see some important things there with those other aspects. But the 11th house is the house of big dreams. So the things that you really want in the world. So you've got a massive amount of energy and support at this time of year for your big wishes to come true. Okay, so now I'm going to drop in a lesson about transcending negative astrological wiring. The more we get into astrology, the more we see wow, how is that in there? But it is in there because it shows us unconscious factors that are directing our lives that come, a lot of it from our genetics. Some of it comes just from the energy that we were imprinted into, but how you can transcend that. So I have a little lesson on that, and then you'll see me back on the screen and I'll give you those awesome dates so you can align your efforts for August. Okay, welcome to my special section on transcending negative astrological patterning. This has been a focus of mine for the entire time I've been doing astrology, which has been almost 2 decades now. I have always gone into astrology as a self-development tool, understanding what's going on so that we can use the information to create the best experience from it. Now, the more you follow astrology and you start to see the amount of things that are true that you can see in there, both from your wiring and the things occurring in the stars, then you start to, some people will start to get a fatalistic attitude towards it and think, wow, since all of that's in there, I must be doomed to continue experiencing that. And for many people and in many instances, that is actually occurring if you are not actively clearing the negative astrological patterning. There's a very complicated discussion as to what it is we bring in with us astrologically and where those pieces come from. But for this discussion, I'm going to focus on strictly the genes, the DNA, the genetics, okay? So this has to do with our ancestry, our bloodline, and things we pull in genetically. Now, we don't just pull in medical issues genetically. We don't just pull in how we look genetically. I believe that we pull in belief systems, and as we are imprinted with these potentials in the genes, we are then in a situation where nurture, our environment, can help to express those potentials or help to express different potentials. So, if you're feeling trapped in something that has been a pattern in your life, whether or not you also notice that that was a pattern in your genealogy, there are ways that you can get the better end of that. If there's something awesome programmed in, like you're a math wizard or an artistic genius, then yeah, we want to keep that, right? But we're talking about the negative astrological patterning, these belief systems that are creating our reality, a lot of times completely out of our awareness. And even when you start to become aware that it's in there and you're creating from it, the task of clearing it up is, very rigorous self-development. But it can be done. Those subconscious programs have to be dealt with because those are creating the environment for your cells, for your DNA to actually express. So I want to talk about a scientist. His name is Bruce Lipton. He's a stem cell biologist. You can find Bruce Lipton on YouTube. You can get his book, The Biology of Belief. Okay, this is landmark stuff here. And it directly relates to astrology because astrology shows us genetics, basically, that we come in with. And I'm seeing this more and more all the time. All kinds of genetic issues and genetic tendencies are being carried over. You can see them in the chart. Okay, so the biology of belief, you can find that to go deeper into this. But basically what happened, okay, so I'll give you the story of what's gone on because this is going to help empower you with the goal of transcending negative astrological patterning to understand this from a scientific perspective. Okay, so the basis of the biology of belief is that genes do not control life. Okay, that's a big bomb, right? Big bomb. So when Bruce Lipton was doing experiments that brought this epiphany, he was going into a cell and removing the structure called the nucleus. Okay, so the nucleus is the structure that contains the genes. So if genes control life and you throw away the nucleus, then there shouldn't be anything to control life in the cell, right? Okay. So he explains that there's a joke that the cells can live for 2.5 more months with no genes at all. And they still carry out all of the complexities of life. Move around, eat, breathe, you know, just they move through life. So then the first thing you have to ask is who's controlling the cells if it's not the genes, right? So this is a really big deal. Okay, so then the big boom for him came where he had, so basically he would put stem cells, isolate one stem cell and put it in a petri dish. Okay. Then it would divide every 10 hours, and after a few days, he'd have thousands of cells. All right, so they're multiplying, they're dividing. So they all came from one cell, meaning they were genetically identical. So then he got to where there's like 10,000 cells in a petri dish, okay? Then he would separate out the cells into 3 petri dishes. Okay, so he takes them from there and he puts them in there. Okay, so now these are genetically identical cells. Okay, this is the thing to note. Then what he did is he changed the growth medium. Okay, so the liquid in there, he changed. He made, so the cells are identical, but he changed the growth medium. Okay, so that's basically the constituents of the environment. All right, so these red and orange and green pieces, or matter here, that is representing different environments. Same cells, genetically identical, different environments. So then what happened was, the first dish formed bone. The second dish formed muscle. And the third dish formed fat. All right, so hopefully you're getting this. This is clicking because this is like, it's mind-boggling stuff. Identical. And then they formed all these completely different outcomes based on their environment. So what he is saying, and I concur, is that our environment is what is calling the shots. Now, of course, there are other factors, and we could nitpick and look at, and analyze, and nothing is as simple as one way, right? But this is a huge piece. So this means that if we change our inner environment and be mindful of our outer environment, we can start to change how the astrological potentials manifest for us in the form of our life and our experience. Okay, it's very exciting. Okay, so a basic summary is the environment includes a massive amount of factors, and we won't get into them all now. But included in the environment is our perceptions, which are shown when we look at the astrology. When we're looking at a chart, all of the different placements in there, different signs and houses, they're showing us a tendency towards perceptions. And even the outer transits, when they're happening in the sky, when planets are getting together, certain configurations, they tend to create us having a tendency towards certain perceptions. A perception might be we're excited, hopeful. A perception might be we're like a victim and there's a tyrant, so these different tendencies to have a perception, we can see those astrologically. So the tendency to have a certain perception is synonymous with karma. If we see something a certain way, we draw to us certain experiences. So basically, changing perceptions changes karma and changes the DNA expression, which changes potentials, which changes outcomes. So we can basically have more say in our lives by changing our perceptions. Seeing how the perceptions we have are creating our experiences. And sometimes they're deep inner unconscious, subconscious perceptions, but you know you're having a certain perception because of the outcome. Like if you are having trouble with money, you know inside you have a perception that you can't earn money, that you, for whatever different reasons, you know, if you have a perception inside that you can't trust partners, well, then you pull in people that aren't trustworthy, you know, things like that. So pinpointing perceptions, which you can do very nicely with astrology, shifting the perceptions with tools, like I always, you know, suggesting EFT and many other things, help to change those perceptions. And that changes the environment, which affects the whole cascade. It's very empowering. It does create a need for accountability, though. Like our current circumstances are sourced within us and outside of us, but because that's part of the environment, but our inner environment, we can affect our perceptions, and then we can still change all of that. So you can see from all of this why I always talk about inner work and why I can't separate astrology from coaching or suggesting inner work and self-development, because how you experience the stars is going to depend on your perceptions. And if you want to have a better experience, you have to change the perceptions. Well, then you have to use the tools to change the perceptions. And that goes from a victim mentality to true empowerment, that we have the power. So you have the power. You have the power to change your life. You just have to be diligent, consistent with effective inner tools. I'm calling the theme of August 2019 for all signs, happy surprises abound. This is one of my favorite months of the whole year for sweetness and magic and wonderful things. There are way more sweet aspects this month than there are salty ones. And in fact, we really only have two little troublemakers that I'm most concerned about, where everything else is just sweet. Now, do note that because we are so soon after the eclipses, that earth-shaking eclipse news can still be coming in from July, but they're not coming in from the aspects in August. Those are carryovers from these major events in July. If you haven't already watched my June and July reports, then definitely check that out, because there are pieces in there that are very relevant for this whole period of time. And in the June report, I go into the details about how each eclipse worked your sign individually. So I see those reports as a sister companion to this report as well. So this is a very unusual month. It's very rare that we have like at least 12 beautiful aspects and only 2 difficult ones. So we do have a couple of things to look out for. So I'm going to go into those things. The first thing we need to know is, besides the eclipse changes that are coming in and are starting to set foot, that's definitely still very current in August. If you had things come to you in July and you were holding off to officially sign or to officially put things into motion for the opportunities that came to you in July, I love the middle of August and after for that. There are some sweet days in the first half of August, but those are for more short-term contracts or ones of lower stakes. I am going to go into the dates that I love most for what here in a second, but just be aware that Mercury went direct right at the very end of July. So really at the beginning of August, we're very much covered in Mercury retrograde, and really until August 15th, there's, confusion or uncertainty or still ironing things out, or kind of like temporary or bridge agreement type of energies. But it is a good time to wrap things up, but a lot of new things are also going to be coming in. So that's exciting. So the whole month is definitely very sparkly with zesty Leo energy. And this is burning bright with creative potential. This is, a wonderful month full of the combination of zest from Leo and grounding Virgo. And whenever we have energy like that, it really helps us to be super productive, because there are so many potentials crackling around, but then we also have this, wherewithal and focus to do something about it. So it can really bring substance to that glowing creative potential. It's a truly magical time in the cosmos. So this is one of my favorite months of the whole year for taking big steps, for basking in glory of events that led up to come to fruition now. So basically for projects that have a shorter term intention, like a 6 to 9 month project or something that is just a carryover of something you've been working on, August 7th, 8th, 11th, and 13th could be great for that. For the ones that you are doing like a major launch, big steps, life-changing decisions, long-term things, long-term commitments, my favorite dates are the 21st, the 26th, the 28th, the 30th, and the 31st. So you can also get a write-up of the dates, why I like the dates, what could happen around those times, and other things to look out for a month ahead in your inbox when you sign up for my free email newsletter. So when you go to AnnieHelpsYou.com, you will get my write-up a month before the actual month, so you can have a written version of my general transit report for you. Plus you get my 28-day virtual coaching program called Shine for free when you sign up for my free email newsletter. So you can check that out at AnnieHelpsYou.com. So drama and stress are more likely in the days around August 2nd and August 16th. Those are the only times where, now, like I said, not to say that drama can't come from something in your personal chart. Our personal chart is something that we can't really take into consideration when we're looking at horoscopes, because there are so many individual factors in your individual chart that we can't see in the horoscopes. But from the general horoscope perspective, it's very clear sailing. So I'm just going to point out the challenging ones. On August 2nd, we have this Venus in Leo squaring Uranus in Taurus. So even though the theme of this month is happy surprises abound based on all this sweet energy and also a lot of sweet aspects with Uranus, which is why I have the word surprise in there, because Uranus tends to bring surprises. When it's in a challenging aspect, sometimes those surprises are not welcome. And this August 2nd one could be unpleasant or jostling, especially in the areas of money or love or your certainty within yourself. So definitely also guard your physical body with extra care and walk with more awareness, okay? Because it's more likely that something will come flying from a window when you're walking, or, you know, that you just have to pay more attention at this time and guard your physical body. And also just be aware that some bumps might come in that the areas of love and beauty and money. The second one that, again, this is an aspect with Uranus. This energy is very much the energy of surprises. And if you've been watching my reports over the last few months, you'll notice I've been using the word surprise a lot. And that's because eclipses bring them in. Sometimes they bring in something that we've expected and hoped for. And in that way, it's not exactly a surprise, but when it actually comes to fruition, it kind of feels like a surprise. So, but then sometimes eclipses also bring in surprises where we're like, we don't really like that. But eclipses have a similar energy to the planet Uranus, and Uranus brings in just like things out of the blue, you know, jolts to your nervous system. And sometimes those are happy jolts, like I said, when they're in sweet aspects, but when they're in these challenging ones, that's when you got to watch out. So we have two of those challenging ones this month, the first and the second. First one is on the 2nd of August, and the second is on August 16th. Now, since that one on August 16th is energetically combined with the full moon in Aquarius, that could be, even though it's a positive full moon in a lot of ways, and I love it for a lot of reasons, this combination of this other aspect being near it is a mixed bag, because you could have something sweet occurring at the same time as the surprise comes in. And since it's in Mercury, it rules news. It also rules mobility. So like being extra careful when walking and driving. And, you know, this is the standard place where we warn, don't text and drive. Don't walk and text. Don't be on your bike texting. Things where your physical body really needs to be minded more, or other people's. This is a time where you don't want to push your luck. So shocking news and other events are more likely. I have seen this manifest as a pleasant surprise, even though it's a difficult angle, but one that brings either exhaustion or some sense of like overdoing, or like you're being challenged in the way that something surprise has come in, but now you have to make room for it in an otherwise also very busy schedule already. So I have seen it manifest that way. But everything else is just sweet, 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 sweet. So those are the things that are most on my mind for the general transits, is just a lot of sweetness. Definitely go to my website, AnnieHelpsYou.com, sign up for my free email newsletter. You'll get to see more details about why I like those days that I listed, and what my why I think that they're amazing times for launches. So I go into like an itemized look at each day and each transit in that report. So if you love the way I teach and you want to learn astrology for personal or professional purposes, I can train you how to be a professional astrologer, and I can also assist you to just use it for yourself and your friends. You can check my program out, Astrology Apprenticeship Program, at anniehelpsyou.com. And if you like written horoscopes by me, you can go to cozybysweetstarlight.com, and a month early I have up more simple, less detailed, but still very helpful because they're written and they've got very important pieces. And a lot of times I talk about different things for your sign than I talk about in the videos. So they're complementary in that way. So you can check those things out. Look at my book, radicalprayerbook.com, or you can just search for Annie Botticelli, Radical Prayer on Amazon. My wonderful little book of prayers and affirmations to help you live in your highest expression. You can see that at radicalprayerbook.com. And check out my husband's website, B.R. Newman, I Am Helios, IAMHELIOS.com, where you can see all the goodies and the things that he's getting himself into now that will be very helpful for you as well. So I hope you have a wonderful month, and I'll see you next month. Bye!